Hello again. Happy Friday the 13th in December?
That's right! Oh, that ain't right.
Yeah, it's pretty weird to have this particular day in this particular month, but...
Oh, wow.
Anyway, today's review is for Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood.
How dare you?
Please don't get angry, snob.
The one you've been dying for.
There goes the neighborhood.
Coming out 2 years after the reboot of the franchise, Part 6, Jason Lives, Part 7, The New Blood is the Friday the 13th film where you could tell the filmmakers were starting to run out of ideas. Originally proposed at the time as a potential crossover between the Friday the 13th and A Nightmare on Elm Street franchises, a deal just could not be reached between rival companies Paramount and New Line Cinema. So for legal and development hell reasons, we'd have to wait until 2003 for our Freddy vs. Jason movie.
Come on!
So in the meantime, various people behind the camera were brainstorming ideas for the next Jason movie. Barbara Sachs, the associate producer for Part 7, proposed a Jaws-like storyline, where corporate land developers would be trying to cover up the murders so they could make condos at Camp Crystal Lake, and presumably Jason would come in at some point and start butchering everybody. Frank Mancuso Jr., still being the executive producer on the franchise, shot down that idea. Eventually, screenwriter Daryl Haney came in and proposed the idea of Jason going up against a girl with telekinesis. Barbara Sachs liked the idea, calling it Carrie vs. Jason, so that was what they went with. And while many people consider this a very stupid and jump-the-shark moment for the Friday the 13th franchise, I don't think it was that far-fetched an idea. I mean, Part 6 had Jason being resurrected from the dead via fucking lightning bolt. So at this point, I think just about anything supernatural was fair game. For the most part, I'd say the execution of Part 7, The New Blood, is really well done, with the exception of the opening and closing scenes, as well as a few frustratingly annoying moments. Daryl Haney's script is pretty solid, along with some additional writing by Manuel Fidelo, who only came on board as a writer after Haney was fired for demanding more money.
See you in 5 years.
The direction, which is the main thing that makes this film work, is done by John Carl Buechler, whose credits before this film included The Dungeon Master, Cellar Dweller, and, yeah, Troll from 1986. And despite that being the film he made before this, Buechler's direction was very impressive. Buechler apparently butted heads with Barbara Sachs over how to make the film, at times going behind her back on some creative decisions.
Oh boy.
According to Daryl Haney, Barbara Sachs really wanted this film to be as well made as possible, to the point that she apparently wanted this film to win an Academy Award, and tried for a while to get more high-profile directors, including, according to what I've read, Federico Fellini, to be in the director's chair. And to that I say, yeah, keep dreaming, sister. After a huge exposition dump opening scene, which makes it seem like the filmmakers assume that nobody going to see Part 7, The New Blood, had seen any other Friday the 13th films, and featuring narration by Walt Gorney, who played Crazy Ralph in Parts 1 and 2.
People forget. He's down there. This place is cursed. Cursed.
We cut to Camp Crystal Lake a few years after the events of Part 6, where we see a little girl named Tina listening to her father beat her mother, and she runs away yelling at her father that she hates him. He tries to make excuses, say he's sorry, he didn't mean it, and her anger triggers a telekinetic moment where her father is dragged into the lake and dies. and doing a complete 180, which, yeah, people regret some things after doing them, but her dad was beating the shit out of her mom, so her screaming of, "I didn't mean it, Daddy," really feels like whiplash. We cut to many years later that, according to what I read, is apparently in the year 2001, Tina, now much older, played by Lar Park Lincoln of the show Knots Landing, is being taken back to the cabin where her father died by her mother, Amanda, played by Susan Blue, to work with her therapist, Dr. Cruz, played by Terry Kaiser, who some people might recognize as Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's. Much more alive this time, for a while. Dr. Cruz says he wants her to confront her trauma and guilt at the scene of her father's death, but in actuality, he just wants to get video footage of her doing her telekinesis, and possibly get famous for it.
To help you overcome the guilt that you have about your father's death.
Bullshit!
Terry Kaiser does a really good job playing a sleazy, in-it-all-for-himself therapist who could really give a shit about his patient.
And you're lying to me!
Concentrate, Tina!
Well, the bullshit therapy and telekinesis is going on. There's a party happening next door.
Parties that never end. Parties that never end. Parties that never end.
Yeah, this is kind of where I lost my shit for a moment and just had to yell, why the fuck would anybody stay at Camp Crystal Lake at this point? I mean, this is an area that has had multiple mass murder sprees, which have a pattern of happening every 5 to 10 years. I mean, yeah, it doesn't look like the camp's in operation anymore, but why would anybody come and rent a cabin here? Why would anyone want to come here and stay? I mean, maybe if it was a tourist attraction, hey, the murders happened here, but why would anyone genuinely vacation here, given the pattern that happens? I mean, they have happened so consistently, I think it would scare any logical person off.
What the hell is going on here?
But I won't dwell too long, because with these movies, you kind of have to just go with the flow.
Super fine.
Tina goes out to the lake where she says she wishes she could bring her father back, which, once again, why would you want to bring back the guy that was beating the shit out of your mom? But she senses something, unaware that it's Jason, and thinks that she can bring her father back, so she tries with all her might and telekinetic power. And given the setup to her powers and her struggles to keep herself together, this is actually not that bad a way to get Jason out from the bottom of the lake after getting chained down there by Tommy Jarvis.
Asswipe.
Cocksucker. You stupid cunt.
Tina goes into shock. Her doctor, for his own agenda and reason, tries to convince her that she imagined Jason.
No!
And even Tina calls out the bullshit on that, because he believes in her telekinesis, so why shouldn't he believe that there's a 6'5" giant zombie roaming about?
Sooner or later you're gonna have to face the fact you're a goddamn moron!
She visits the house next door where a bunch of friends are waiting for one of their cousins to show up for a big birthday party. She meets Nick, played by Kevin Blair Spertas. And while the film moves along pretty quickly and goes the cliched route of having these people who just met fall in love, they actually do take a lot of time to develop these two, actually give them some real interactions, and the Nick character, he is pretty likable. He's not stupid, believes what he sees, and there are scenes where they act all cute and have their spur-of-the-moment kiss are actually pretty touching. It's very interesting, very rare for this type of movie, and kind of nice. The cast overall does a really great job. Next to Terry Kaiser and Susan Blue, we get some good performances by Diana Barrows as Maddie, the awkward, nerdy girl of the group. And this character, she practically has her own subplot where she's shy and feels bad that none of the boys will pay her attention and all the girls are being mean to her. And she really strives to get the attention of the boys she likes. And this character only has a few scenes, but Diana Burrows puts everything into it. She really creates a character that, for what limited time she has, is sympathetic and can't help but feel really sorry for her when she goes. Like Paula from Part 6, you really wish there had been more of her. Next to Dr. Cruz, the biggest ass cunt in the film is Melissa, played by Susan Jennifer Sullivan. She's a friend of the stoner girl, and she has a crush on Nick and starts showing huge jealousy when it becomes clear he's attracted to Tina.
Hey, Tina, isn't this the way they wear their jackets back in the mental hospital?
When this scene happened, I just wanted to strangle the bitch. And when Tina loses it and breaks Melissa's precious pearl necklace, I was just like, yeah! In an attempt to make Nick jealous, she tries making out with this wannabe sci-fi writer named Eddie, played by Jeff Bennett.
Starlicon. Entire galaxy is populated by highly evolved protozoa.
Eddie is probably the most amusing side character in the film, just spouting off all these ideas he has for sci-fi stories. And when Melissa reveals she was just using him, his reaction is both heartbreaking and hilarious, running off in his underwear in a way that just makes him look like he's begging to get fucked. The other kids of the cabin aren't exactly the most memorable. We have the token stoners, the token black people, but all these actors are really putting their all in, and they all are directed in a way where you can't say anybody gave a bad performance.
You know Michael. He probably got pulled over for drunk driving and spent the night in jail.
I mean, the guy can smell a party 100 miles away. He'll be here.
So I've listed a couple of my pros for Part 7, The New Blood. Now it's time to get into the cons, because there are quite a few. The main thing being, this film was absolutely beaten into submission by the MPAA. Part 7 is so well made, which makes it a shame because the death scenes are so lame. We have some great, really intense build-up to certain characters' deaths, and they all end either abruptly or they cut out all the good stuff. John Carl Buechler was forever pissed off about how many cuts he had to make to the film. It took 9 submissions to the MPAA before the film got an R rating.
I got just 2 words to say about that. Oh? Bullshit!
And although the film lacks in gore and violence, you can at least give it a little credit for showing some pretty decent ass. As well as a reasonably well-made underwater nude death scene.
Ain't it cool?
A very confusing and frustrating moment for me is when Tina and Nick discover some old newspaper clippings about the Jason killings from the previous films. And it's here that Tina realizes who Jason is after the encounter they had earlier. And what really confuses and astounds me about this scene is Tina, who, as we saw in the opening, once lived at Camp Crystal Lake, and Nick, who maybe he's not a local, but no one in this film, aside from Dr. Cruz, it's implied, seems aware of the fact that Jason Voorhees went on multiple murder sprees at this lake. I mean, it's only been about 10 years. How can anybody who stays, how can anybody who visits this lake not know who the fuck Jason is?
I don't know.
With just about everybody dead, including Dr. Cruz, whose death scene, like every other, is sadly cut too soon. And Tina's mom, who, while sympathetic, really didn't stick up enough for her daughter when dealing with Dr. Cruz. The only people left alive are Tina, Nick, and Melissa. She remains a bitch to the end.
Fuck you. Fuck you both!
And this will be the last time I say this, because it's getting repetitive, but fuck you to the MPAA for making every death scene in this film look like they were edited for TV. Because how dare you deny us an awesome death scene for the most unlikable and hateable character in this film? The big showdown between Tina and Jason is, on some levels, awesome, on others, fucking ridiculous. There is so much work put into this finale that you can't help but admire it. These effects still hold up, and the ways Tina tries to kill Jason with her telekinesis are very creative. On the other hand, it's a crybaby teenager looking like an angsty brat, throwing a bunch of shit at an indestructible zombie. And while it is the finale, they just go really over the top. In fact, screenwriter Daryl Haney admits he thinks the ending was really fucking stupid. And after a while, I just start to think, does anybody remember when this franchise was about a crazy mother killing camp counselors because she was traumatized about the drowning of her retarded son?
No.
So, to wrap up my thoughts on the finale, it is really over the top, but at the same time, very impressive. And Tina and Nick remain a pretty cool couple to watch, and to stop Jason from killing Nick, Tina causes his mask to rip off, and we get possibly the greatest unmasked look Jason Voorhees has ever had. My god, that face is legitimately terrifying. In fact, this film features probably the best look Jason ever had. The half-rotted flesh, teeth showing, his spine coming through in the back. He just looks great here. And while we're on it, this is the first film to feature Kane Hodder in the role of Jason, before playing him 3 more times, making him the actor to play Jason more times than anybody else. To many fans, Kane Hodder is the best Jason Voorhees, and while I think he is great here, I'm not sure I'd call him my personal favorite. I do think he has a great build for the character, and he's really good in the movement, but I think I'd have to go with Richard Brooker or C.J. Graham as my favorite Jasons. And it was with Kane that Jason, per Kane's idea, would start his never running, always walking slowly trope, and yet being able to catch up with everybody who tried running away. Once again, just to be clear, I think Kane Hodder is pretty excellent in this film. I just don't think he's the definitive Jason. But Kane does make his bones in this film, doing all of his own stunts as Jason, and despite being a serious burn victim from a stunt gone wrong, Kane set the world record at the time for the most controlled fire stunt in a film at 40 seconds. And funny story, at around 2 a.m., Kane Hodder was heading back to his trailer, still fully dressed in the Jason makeup and hockey mask. And while walking through the woods, he came across some random person. I question why anyone would walk in the middle of the woods at night. And according to Kane, this random shithead just asked, "Are you with the movie?" To which Kane says he did the trademark Jason grunt and body movements, scaring the guy to just run the fuck away. And I got nothing to add to that other than that's fucking priceless. John Carl Buechler says he cast Kane Hodder after working with him on the Rennie Harlan movie Prison, and being impressed by a scene where Kane Hodder's character spits up maggots, and it was actually Kane Hodder's idea for him to put live maggots in his mouth.
God, that's graphic.
It was just his devotion and willingness to do that kind of shit that made him think he'd be a good Jason. After the house blows up, Tina and Nick think they're in the clear, but of course they aren't. It looks like Tina's done for. And in a really confusing moment, Tina, using all of her telekinetic strength, causes the ghost, corpse, I don't know exactly what to call it, of her father to come back to life just for a few seconds and drag Jason back into the lake and re-chain him up.
Sure. Why not?
What can I possibly say about this other than it doesn't make sense? It's pretty fucking lame. And it's like, they put in all this action, and this is the note they go out on? And then we get a surprisingly pretty happy and cheerful final scene where, while injured, it's implied Tina and Nick will get their happily ever after. And that's where the fucking movie ends. They could have saved a lot of trouble with the whole house blowing up if they just used these guys.
Look, I'm not afraid of Jason. Look at me. Oh my God. It is fucking rascal. I got your butt, pussy. Take it. Oh, fuck you, Jason. Fuck you. Who are you two fags? Fuck it. Just Jason Voorhees.
Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, is not the worst sequel, but the constant editing done to avoid an X rating really hurts the film. John Carl Buechler showed some real potential to be a great horror director here, and I really wish he could have made the movie he wanted to make. On the 10-star scale, I'd give Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, a 5.5. A 5-star scale, I'd give it a 2.5. Major props to the music in this film. Harry Manfredini's only credited for his reused scoring from the previous films, but Fred Mullen, who composed all the new music, does an incredible job. This is some legitimately awesome 80s horror music. Cinematography by Paul Elliott is just as good as the direction by John Carl Buechler, and no shock given the censor hacking the film got. The movie had 3 editors. The fact I'll end on is Kane Hodder has said that Part 7, The New Blood, features his all-time favorite Jason kill of his own. Jason takes a girl in a sleeping bag, drags her to a tree, and just whops her into it. According to Kane, the sleeping bag he dragged had an animatronic dummy inside to simulate a live person. He was supposed to whack her multiple times, but the dummy weighed 95 pounds, so he got tired really fast. And whether that or the editing contributed to it, the final result just seems like another addition to the many letdowns in the film, although we would get a much better version in Jason X. Next time we dive into this series, it'll be with what many consider the guilty pleasure entry in the Friday the 13th franchise. The one where Jason goes on a cruise and stops by Manhattan for about 5 minutes.
Michael, get a move on.
Christ, it's cold out here!